안녕하세요. Thank you everyone for staying around for the conference. My name is Zeth. I'm the founder and CEO of Bitboy. I'm going to be, of course, speaking in English. Unfortunately, 안녕하세요 is the only line of Korean that I know. So, gaming on Bitcoin. It's a topic that I think very few people really pay attention to too much. Bitcoin is a burgeoning ecosystem. It is still very, very early stage. And I just want to get a show of hands. How many people in the room actually own any ordinals? If you own ordinals, there you go. Okay. All right, I'm in the right room. So ordinal is a way to put data on chain, right? And within Bitcoin, within ordinals, you cannot only put JPEG, so NFTs, but you can also put HTML codes, JavaScript, and other types of codes that run on a front end, basically inside of a browser. And starting from over a year ago, when we first started our journey into ordinals, we experimented with putting gaming codes inside of ordinal inscriptions. So that when you open a browser to look at an ordinal the way that you would with a JPEG, you can also play some video games. And fast forward a year later, we began to looking into putting some of those games that we have inscribed on chain into a physical gaming device that we call Bitboy. And here's a short video for that. Great. So that video hopefully gives you a sense of what the device does, what it looks like, and what it's capable of. And unlike sometimes in crypto projects, you see a PowerPoint presentation, you see people with a lot of promises that they're going to deliver product, but you don't see that product until much, much later, or if ever at all. We have actually created the device, and I actually have a prototype here in my hand. So we actually have a booth outside, right across the entrance of this room, where you can experience the Bitboy firsthand and get your hands on it and play with it, and to understand a little bit better about what it does. So about the functionalities within the device. So it's a combination of Bitcoin gaming, Bitcoin mining, and Bitcoin wallet. So in addition to being able to play the games that you saw in the video just now, some of the retro classics that you can load your own ROM, your own version of the game inside the Bitboy. You can also play on-chain ordinal games that we have inscribed, and other projects like Pizza Ninja have inscribed with emulation on-chain. So you can also, in addition to playing those games and earn points and convert those to tokens like rooms and BRC20, you can also mine Bitcoin within the device. So I'm not sure how many people in the room are familiar with lottery mining, but essentially, if you are able to contribute a tiny bit of hash rate to a public mining pool, and for every time that a block comes out on Bitcoin, you have a tiny, tiny bit of chance of actually winning the rewards of that entire block. And for now, that stands at 3.125 Bitcoins. And there is actually a growing popularity of lottery mining systems, especially here in Asia. Over a month ago, we were in Taipei for Asia Blockchain Summit. And right around that time, a solo miner, I think based out of Taiwan, actually won a full block reward. So for a tiny mining machine that he had at home, he was able to get the full 3.125 block rewards. It's like winning the lottery, hence lottery mining. And in addition to that, you can also use this device as a wallet to hold your assets. So, problem with doing gaming on Bitcoin. So we've been we've been leading the narrative of gaming on Bitcoin for the last year, and we've experienced many, many issues. Some of those problems, I think a lot of speakers earlier today have already addressed. For us, doing gaming in particular, one key aspect was there's not many gaming projects coming to Bitcoin because of the lack of functionality, or smart contract functionality to be specific. And we were able to put retro mini games on chain because those types of games don't require a lot of computation. The logic runs inside of a browser. There's no save state, and it is very easy to play it and forget it without putting too much computational requirements on the chain itself. But that limits to the types of games that can actually go onto Bitcoin. The second issue was that the gaming content on Bitcoin remains very, very small. Inside of the millions of inscriptions right now, predominantly BRC20 rooms transactions, and within the NFT space, there's a lot of JPEGs, a lot of stitched together ordinals that are meant to be looked at as a piece of artwork. There are not that many games that are being inscribed on chain. So there's huge, I would say, untapped potential in the Bitcoin gaming aspect, because a lot of the users in Web 2 in particular understand what Bitcoin is, understand how much Bitcoin is worth, would like to hold BTC in their wallet, but they do not have any knowledge or understanding of how games can actually can be played on Bitcoin. So to solve that, we're moving away from being a gaming studio and into what I like to call building an infrastructure builder of gaming infrastructure on Bitcoin. And the benefits of this is, number one, gaming effectively expands Bitcoin's use case. So it will actually provide a more efficient and secure way for games to be deployed onto a blockchain. And also, it helps with mainstream adoption. So think of a Web 2 person who has never experienced with a seed phrase, with setting up a wallet, or with interacting with the blockchain. Doing so for the first time on BTC could be very daunting. And if the experience is not on a computer in a browser where it's susceptible to hacks and other kind of phishing links, the user can actually be onboarded via a physical gaming device that looks and works a lot like a physical Game Boy, then they can actually find it much easier to experiment and experience Web3 in a very fun, interesting, and user-friendly manner. So by holding one of these devices, you're not only a game player, you're also an asset owner, you're also a miner. And you're not only interacting with smart contract layer on the Bitcoin blockchain, like a Bitcoin L2 or EVM compatible chains in other shapes or form, but you are also able to interact directly with the Bitcoin chain by becoming a miner on the blockchain. And that's what I believe it is very attractive, not only for crypto degens, but also for diehard Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin maxis, who are just looking at this, who could just be looking at this from a different angle. Think of it as a way to get more people to understand how Bitcoin as a blockchain actually works. So to highlight some of the accomplishments that we've been doing in the past year, we started out as a gaming project on Bitcoin called Ors Games. You'll notice that a lot of the early projects started out, has a name that starts with ORD because of ordinals. Putting games on ordinals was essentially our core mission at the early stage. And we've had over 5 gaming seasons, over 120,000 wallets that have played our games. And we have had an IDO of our token, ORDG, on a platform on Stacks called Alex, which was 81 times oversubscribed and had a lockup of over 190 BTC. And we have issued a set of PFP called Ors Heroes that sold out on Magic Eden within 24 hours. And as we move towards putting all of these interesting assets and games onto this physical device called Bitboy, we have gained over 20,000 followers within the first 2 weeks of launching the project. Our Genesis collection of those first 1,000 units of the Bitboy sold out within 2 minutes when we went public launch. And it was covered without, this is not paid media, not paid coverage, by Decrypt, by CoinDesk, by VentureBeat. Everyone saw what we were doing, and they were very, very keen to publish about it, to talk about it. And we're not just only be seen in the Bitcoin ecosystem, but also in the gaming ecosystem in Web3, and many, many other blockchains that have anything to do with gaming and deep in and physical devices. And to illustrate kind of how the retro gaming aspect has become increasingly popular in the past decade, this is a chart that shows the Google search trends for video game emulators. Apple recently allowed for emulation apps to go on the App Store within iOS. And the moment that it did that, within the first week, the #1 app on the App Store was an emulation app. Now, this marks a watershedding moment for retro gaming in general, because previous to this, retro games were seen as kind of a gray area, emulator was seen as a kind of a gray area, whereby the people who play these games, they have to own the physical copy of the device, and it is not allowed for emulators to be on very, very established platforms like iOS. But since then, it has become increasingly popular to run an emulator on your phone, on your computer, on your Steam Deck, you can even make even if you own a Switch, you can put emulators on there and play video games from other companies and platforms. So these retro arcade games are becoming increasingly universal and ubiquitous, so that people can access them from anywhere on the go. And I think it is a very interesting divergence from the kinds of mobile games that we've been accustomed to since the mobile revolution, where you play it on your phone, but the advertising model just means that you see an ad every 30 seconds, and you have to just finish watching the ad, or you have to pay to finish to keep playing the game. So emulation is really becoming an alternative to that. You can be playing these games on your mobile device, on your computer, and you can enjoy them without being interrupted by ads, and you can enjoy them at any point with a mobile device like this. And one key thing that we did when we went to publicize the Bitboy on the Bitcoin blockchain was we inscribed a 3D model close to 4 megabytes on chain. Now, I think some of the speakers earlier might have alluded to this, but inscribing large files on Bitcoin costs a lot of money. So back when we did this, and this was before the halving this year, it cost us a lot of Bitcoin to put that 4 megabytes of the 3D model on chain. And why did we do that? We did that as a way to showcase what is possible on chain. As you will see here, this is Ord.io, one of the most popular explorers for ordinals. So the biggest inscriptions right now, some of them are videos, some of them are JPEGs. There's 2 3D models, one being the runestone, which is the biggest collection ever on Bitcoin, on ordinals, in terms of market cap, probably in terms of numbers. And later, us, the 3D model of the Bitboy. And we are the only gaming element within the largest inscriptions to date. So I would say that the ability to experience gaming on Bitcoin is really led by many of our initiatives that we've been starting to do since day one. So to finish off, I guess this slide does not go back. I'm trying to go back to the last slide. Thank you. So to finish off, the types of collab partners that we're looking for, and the reason why we're here in Korea, is we're actively looking for distribution partners who are interested in finding channels of players and buyers of the Bitboy device. We're also looking for builders who are interested in launching their games on our platform that will have access to thousands of degens and real players who have spent a lot of hours understanding how this ecosystem works. So it's a very, very high quality group of people. And lastly, we're looking for other networks that will be interested in putting their tokens into a mining distribution aspect within the Bitboy device. The device ships in Q4 of this year, so the whole team is actively working on the production. I'm in Shenzhen all the time. That is where the production line is. And hopefully in the next 2 months, many of you who have ordered the Bitboy already will be getting your device in your hands, and I look forward to seeing many of the unboxing videos there. Great, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully I'll see you again next year.